Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, my honorable adjudicators. My name is Chiedza Mavangira, and I was born without borders in Bulawayo in Zimbabwe. The legacy that my father Zebron left for me and my mother Stella helped to foster was one of making it happen. I stand here humbly before you today in celebration of that legacy and on behalf of millions of women and children all over the world with the gifts of perseverance, creativity, and resourcefulness. There has not yet been a border constructed that those abilities cannot cross over. When I was a little girl, my mother would come home from work after a long, hard day laboring at the store with my father, and she would braid my hair. And as she braided my hair, she would tell me a rich Shona fable, the moral of which was to make it happen. We've reconstructed such a scene as that here today. I will share with you a story about how to make it happen, at the end of which I will make a call to action. And I cordially invite you all to enthusiastically respond as loudly as you can, faith that makes it happen. Once upon a time, a poor young man and his young wife wandered out of the village and into the city to look for work. The woman was with her second child. Off the man went on his bicycle to look for work, back he came empty-handed. Off he went to look for work, back he came empty-handed. Off he went once more to look for work, and back he came empty-handed. "Husband," said the wife, "why do they deny you a job?" "They say they have no money," the man responded. "Tell them you will work for nothing." "Nothing?" the man answered. "Be still, my husband. Tell them you will work for old rags. Everybody has clothes they no longer need." Hearing his young wife's wisdom, the man went off into that city that night. And indeed, he returned with a job and a pile of old clothes. The woman sorted through the clothes by color, creed, and type, washing them with her bare hands and a bar of pungent green soap, and hanging them to dry on a thin clothesline outside of her small cottage. In a little time, she started selling the clothes in front of her cottage. In no time, she became one of the most popular vendors at her local flea market. A few years later, the man and woman purchased their first business, and they never looked back. That man was my father Zebron. That woman was my mother Stella, and the child they were with is me. And that's a picture of my sister Naturai and I sitting on the counter of my father's first store in Bulawayo. So, how do we make it happen? Jeff Olson, in his book, The Slight Edge, says, by being patient and understanding that little steps compound to make a difference. He also says, by having faith in the process of simple positive actions to repeat over time. Please join me in a call to action. You will respond, faith that makes it happen. What kind of faith rises a woman to early market tomatoes with a fussy baby tied on her tired back? Faith that makes it happen. What kind of faith rises a girl child to the same educational opportunities as a boy child at the crack of dawn? Faith that makes it happen. What kind of faith allows a young woman to turn rags to riches in her local flea market? Faith that makes it happen. So one might ask, what does she mean she was born without borders? How do I define borders? I will define borders, and then I will say, how do we cross them over, and you guys will respond with faith that makes it happen. Borders can be mental when we are blind to the opportunities that tomorrow brings. How do we cross over these borders? With faith that makes it happen. Borders can be spiritual when we do not see the will of God in our lives. How do we cross over these borders? With faith that makes it happen. Borders can be geographical when we're born into a war-torn, economically strained country. How do we cross over these borders? With faith that makes it happen. Borders can be financial when we're born into the affliction of poverty. How do we cross over these borders? With faith that makes it happen. Borders can be anything that stand in the way of making it happen. So together, let us make a declaration of faith. We activate God with faith. We activate action with vision. You can join me. We activate our destiny with purpose. And together we can make it happen. With a very special thanks to Voodoo Vintage Voice and our very own Namachala Machali. She's a very talented young lady from South Africa who's inspired by the fresh fruits in her marketplace, the vivid changing of the seasons, and the cascading of the Victoria Falls to make her beautiful accessories. We had the privilege of having her on the red carpet with celebrity Cheryl Lee Ralph at the Divas Simply Singing, raising awareness for AIDS, and she had an opportunity to dress the diva for her occasion, and she's now featured in many magazines and growing her business. And together, let us try and celebrate the innovative spirit of women like Norma. And let us all strive to reinforce gender equality so that we can activate women and girls to be agents and ambassadors of global change. Maitha Jane.